Welcome. You're listening to the Healthy Moving Podcast. I am your healthy moving enthusiast, Jen Hoffman of stayathomeyoga.com. I'm declaring February Mindset Month. We're going to dig deep into your thoughts and pull out the weeds that keep you from being the healthiest version of yourself. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to plant the seeds for a flourishing thought garden. And today, we're starting with one of your most limiting beliefs. Healthy activities aren't enjoyable. Plus, I'm going to answer a listener question about why I suggest the alignment points that I do. It's going to be a great show. Stick around. Imagine I invite you to dinner. Let's say we're celebrating you accomplishing something big. You come to my house excited about enjoying a fun meal together. As you walk in the door, you notice something odd. You can't smell any food. And then I invite you to the table, and you see why. The feast consists of only raw veggies and some hummus for dipping. You feel like celebrating? Partying? Getting down? Probably not, right? Or how about this? I tell you I've had a bad week and that I'd like to get together on Saturday to relax and hang out. Maybe you picture a coffee shop or a wine bar, but I suggest a trail and minimal footwear. Sound relaxing? See, there's this story that we're telling ourselves about healthy choices. We think of them as burdensome or annoying. We choose the French fries instead of the side salad, or the couch and the glass of wine over a walk in the fresh air, because of the story we tell ourselves about each of those choices. One is enjoyable, the other feels like punishment. Why don't we find healthy choices enjoyable? There's this concept in systems thinking that says this: the short-term results of an action and the long-term results of an action are typically different and often opposite. I'm going to say that again because it's powerful. The short-term results of an action and the long-term results of an action are typically different and often opposite. So how do we yank the healthy activities aren't fun weed from our thought garden and plant a more fruitful thought? We become forward thinkers. We look beyond this moment and think about the future dividends of a choice. What are the future dividends of the fries? What are the future dividends of the salad? How about the couch and the walk? As you think about that, can you feel your attitude about each of those choices change? Your desire to choose one over the other shift. The short-term results of an action and the long-term results of an action are typically different and often opposite. This week, when you notice that thought arising, this healthy choice, whatever it is, it's a sacrifice, a punishment. Do a little forward thinking and watch your thoughts change. And if you want some inspiration for healthy activities that are fun and have amazing dividends, head over to stayathomeyoga.com and sign up for a free trial. You can start with the mini yoga breaks. They take only a few minutes and can be done right in the middle of your everyday life. That's some amazing future rewards. Okay, I'll be back in just a moment with this week's Q&A. As always, I want to remind you that my answers to your questions are not intended to replace any medical advice that's given to you.
Hi, Jen. My name is Susanna, and I do have a question for you. I've been doing a workout for the last couple of years where the instructor puts a lot of emphasis on tucking in your tailbone and keeping your rib cage up. And from what I've been doing on stay-at-home yoga, you're emphasizing the opposite of that. And I was just wondering if you could explain some of the reasoning for that. I'm trying to retrain my body according to the instructions that you're giving, but I'd love to hear more of the reasoning behind it.
I love this question, Susanna. Thanks so much for calling in. And I want to give you some specifics to answer your question. And there are numerous reasons I teach each of those alignment points, but here are a few. The action of tucking our tailbone, it puts us into lumbar flexion and causes us to use the back muscles instead of the big muscles at the back of the legs when we do things like bend over. So have you ever known anyone, or maybe you yourself, has gotten a back spasm simply from bending over? They try to tie their shoes or something simple, and all of a sudden they're in bed for several days because of back pain. This is why. We want to use those muscles at the back of the legs, and having a neutral pelvis is required for that. The other thing is that the tucked tailbone, it shortens the pelvic floor muscles and it moves the sacrum closer to the pubic bone. We get the greatest amount of force and the longest endurance from a muscle when it's longer than its most contracted position. So we want to strengthen the backside so that we pull that sacrum out and away from the pubic bone in order to have the healthiest pelvic floor. And I just have to say, gents, this is as important for you as it is for the ladies. As for the rib thrust, or the lifting the rib cage up, this alignment limits the ability of the deep core muscles to work appropriately. For example, the transverse abdominals, they can't fire the way we need them to when the rib cage is lifted up. So they are unable to adequately support the spinal structure when we thrust the ribs up. Those are some examples, but here's the thing. Maybe you're a total body nerd like me, Susanna, and you really want to understand the anatomy and the mechanics of these things. If so, fist bump. Right on, I hope my answer helps. But what's more likely is you don't feel amazing in your body today. Or maybe you feel pretty good today, but you want to do what's right so that your body continues to support your life and all the amazing things you do every day for a really long time into the future. And you're getting conflicting advice, so you're just not sure what's, quote, right. See, I don't want to talk you into anything. I don't want you to just believe everything I'm saying. I want you to experiment. Try it. You won't know right away, so don't give up on day 1 or even day 10. But after a little while, what do you notice? Do you feel your backside and your hamstrings working more? How does your back feel? How's your breathing? If it feels good, and I'm betting it will, keep on keeping on. Not because Jen said so, but because you feel it in your body. And by the way, if any of you out there are wondering, what the heck is she talking about, untuck the tailbone and unthrust the ribs? I'll put some links for some stay-at-home yoga videos in the show notes for episode 10 over at healthymovingpodcast.com. Also, I'm teaching a free live online class next Wednesday, February 11th. I'd love to have you join me. You can get the registration link by entering your email address and clicking the blue Get Access Now button over at healthymovingpodcast.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this helpful, please head to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review. I so appreciate that. If you have a question you'd like me to answer on air or a story you'd like to share, you can call me at 201-580-MOVE or click the Leave Me a Message link in the show notes. And I'd love your help in starting this healthy moving revolution. Please tell your friends and family about the show. We have Facebook and Twitter links over on the site to make spreading the word a breeze. Thank you again, and until next week, keep moving, friends.